Hey, what's going on, Taka fam? So back from the regional over the weekend, as y'all saw in the community post. So I'll tell y'all what I did and how I did it and which place I made. So unfortunately, I didn't do as great as I wanted to at this event. Partially my fault for certain choices. Also, I haven't been playing as much as I used to, so that actually affected a lot of my gameplay as well. So I chalk it up to that. And I didn't really have as much testing with the side deck as what I wish I did. But uh, there was 358 players. Unfortunately, I finished 89th. Not the greatest, but out of 358 people, it's still good. But yeah, there was 9 rounds of Swiss, and we cut to the top 48. So coincidentally, if I won my last round, I would have been in that little bubble of like the 17 people who did still get in with that record. But I'll show y'all what I played and some of my choices. So the 3, Aluber, and Albaz. These cards were great the whole time. There was a couple matches where I did draw 2 Aluber, and there was one match I actually lost where I opened both Albaz, and it kind of sucked a lot. And that was like the first time in a long time it happened, so that was kind of weird for me. Other than that, they were great. I actually enjoyed the 3 Cartesia. Just being able to fuse multiple times was actually really good, and opening a way to fuse was good. Sometimes going second, I would take out 1, but it depends on the matchup most times. 1 Quim, I didn't miss any more than this. I think that was enough. 2 Albions. So there's a trend where this card is being played from anywhere from 1 to 3. And I think if you're playing a 40 card build or anything around 40, I think it's cool to either play 1 or 2. I decided to play 2 because I wanted to maximize on drawing it. And of course, like, having these 2, having access to both of these, to me was really good. So that's why I did it. And just being able to upstart, help you draw on the side cards is good. Horma Carrier. So funny story. This was the only foreign card in my deck, and one of my opponents wanted to read it. And I said, okay, cool. They didn't even think about it. Let him read it. And he was like, wait, do you have a translation for it? I was like, oh my God, I forgot. It's in my car. So the judge came over, neither of us had Neuron or whatever, but I guess he wanted to read specifically on the text. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. But that was the only like foreign card in my deck. There was no game loss or anything. I just made sure after the match that I made sure to swap that out. Then the 3 Bestials. I actually enjoyed each of these. I drew this a couple times, and one of the times it did lose me a game, ironically enough. This was good all day. This card was kind of weird, but post side, I always sided this card out, period. I didn't think I needed it. And there was a lot of times I was side out lost, because if you don't play this, you may as well cut lost too. And the last monster was 1 Black Witch. So yes, I still played this engine, and this engine was actually crazy. I kind of played a smaller engine of it, but the fact that this has really good synergy, like I'll show you, I'll put this to the side, but we'll come back and talk about that. And for spells, fusion, opening, and pretty much branded deployment, as we all say. Just seeing one of these cards is really good. There was a couple games I did lose where I opened like 2 opening, 2 Aluber, and like 1 random card, and it just wasn't good. So I just kind of got destroyed by an Imperm. It just wasn't good enough. And then for the wanted package, so I decided to play the 3 of these, and the one target, which is my Snake Eye. That was pretty good. I actually enjoyed playing this. Just being able to get your monsters out of the Spell and Trap Zone was really good to me. And that's where I wanted to go ahead and talk about this. So a lot of people have been doing this, putting Mirror Jade in the back row. Since I played this, I can actually send the Mirror Jade from the Spell and Trap Zone and then set this. Or set the Wanted. Most times I set the Wanted if I was going first. If I was going second, I would set this. So it was just like a little resource loop. Just gave me a free draw every turn, just about. And I would sometimes leave this on the field and just fuse with it later. So I thought that was really good. And it actually came up a lot because I had a Mirror Jade get stuck there. And they probably thought like, yeah, no more Mirror Jade. Then I went Witch, Send, and then started playing. And they were so confused. So it actually worked out a lot. And it was good because it helped me fix my hand. This card actually was terrible. Believe it or not, Super Poly was Garbo. It's not very good because all the good players just play around it. And most time post side, I either side out one or two of these because they'll always consciously play around it. Even if they don't know that you're playing branded, they'll always try to play around it. And once they know you're playing branded, they make sure to play around it. So I don't really want to hard draw it at that point. So I would either side them one out, two out, or sometimes all three, depending. 3 thrusts. I bricked on this card like one time, but outside of that, everything was good with this. It was very playable. And of course, the duplication to go with it. And then for the last 3 cards, the branded cards, of course. Red lost Retribution. Unfortunately, there was a game where I opened this, and post side there's a card that I play, but it was just not playable. And so I straight up lost. It was very frustrating, but I guess it happens. And then for the extra deck, we played the 2 Jade, 2 Albion, and a Lubellion. Like I always say, this doesn't change for me. And I thought it was great. I did play against one mirror match today. Well, that day. And since I played the Diabell Star engine, it was already kind of frustrating because it was already a mirror match. But both my Jades were gone. One of his Jades was used. And I just put it in the Spell and Trap Zone. So it's like neither of us had a Jade to play the game. So that was really good. Sanctifier and Hypnotis. I summoned this one time and it was good. And I summoned Sanctifier any chance I got, pretty much. And we played the Titaniclad and the Rembrum. I summoned Titaniclad once and it actually won me a game. Titaniclad, that was 4,000 plus a Mirror Jade. That was enough to win me the game. And my tech, I decided to play a Sprint. Sprint was really good. So here's my ideology behind playing Sprint. You know those floodgates that we all don't like, aka summon limit? Yeah, this breaks that. So if y'all don't know, he could, during the main phase, so it's not a quick effect, you get to just move him to a different column and then nuke everything that's face up in that column. So I would always like summon him in like a random place that has no back row or anything in it. And then if they flip summon limit, I just move him. And it actually came up a lot. And the fact that it takes effect monster special summon that turn is very relevant. 1 Dust Dragon, not much to say. Masquerade was good. Aquarius was okay. Mud Dragon was fairly decent. I summoned it like once. But I still ended up losing that game, but that was my own fault because I summoned my Witch right next to it, and my Witch played into a hand trap for no reason. When I knew in my mind that I was going to call Dark and do it, but I never announced it or did it. And then I just ran into a hand trap, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I have to eat that. So Just kind of be careful whenever you're playing. Don't let yourself get tunnel vision. But yeah, I don't think it mattered. I don't think I was winning that game anyway, but that's one of those things that you kind of got to pay attention to. And then when Drago, I actually summoned this a lot because for some reason, I just kept playing against shifter decks, and that was kind of annoying. So yeah. For the side deck, only hand trap I really sided was Nibiru. It was good against pretty much everything, except when you don't draw it. But I mean, it's one hand trap, and the other two hand traps technically, which is just the two Bestials. I always side these in, no matter the matchup, because they're just bodies that I could use to send off Witch, and they're chum blockers, you know, and they help you when you're trying to out summon limit, you know, putting more bodies on the board before you have to play on your turn. Then we have the puppet. Yes, I didn't think it was necessary to have the puppet in the main deck, so I just decided to side it. So it was good. The card that destroyed me was Talents. So yeah, this is the other card I told you where I opened Unplayable. This is in my hand. Every time I drew this card, it was always a really bad hand. Like unplayable or borderline unplayable. So I don't know. Maybe it's just my luck with this card. This card just doesn't like me that much, but it's good in theory, but I kind of just wanted to play one for that reason. Because initially I was siding 3, but it just didn't feel good. Herald, I just play this just to respect Pearly, you know, just in case. Call by from when I go first, against like shifter decks and just decks that play hand traps, which is every deck. And unfortunately, I love this card to death, but this card was terrible for me. And the only reason why it was really terrible was because the time I drew it the first time, it was against an FTK deck, and it meant nothing. And the other times I drew it, I was playing into a shifter matchup, and where they just happened to draw the shifter anyway. And I didn't have like another hand trap to play in that situation, so that was just kind of unlucky. So I may or may not side that card again. Then there was these two Cosmics. They were fairly decent. They helped me in a couple situations. But there was one time I didn't really get a chance to use it, and it didn't really matter because I wasn't playing anyway, apparently. So I played against a shifter deck, and I drew this off the top, and I needed engine, and I drew this instead. So I ended up losing, but that happens. But I think if I would have paid more attention and focused more on my siding, then it would have worked out a lot better. And the last card I played, which I shouldn't have played either, was Rossilla. It was mainly for a going first option, but as I realized, I just wasn't siding this in, and I would rather just use Diabellstar to set another Wanted, you know, when I went first, and then fuse her off to then set the Subversion, you know, going second, or for whenever my opponent passes turn and I don't die. But it was decent. But yeah, that was what I played at the regional. Hopefully I do a lot better next time, and I definitely will try to buckle down and focus a little bit more on my siding. But if y'all like this video, leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Peace.